I couldn't say how many people are here that are from my world, because it was not part of the plan for us to know one or the other. The idea was that if we did happen to find out, take this as a scenario, if everyone in this room suddenly found out for a fact that you were from this other world, what a nice exclusive club we would have. And we could gripe at each other about all the inconsistencies this world has to offer. We would finally take our focus off why we came here and focus upon each other, not accomplishing anything. So the plan was that we don't know one from the other, so that we can sit about to achieve what we came here to achieve. And as we get to a point to where we really understand and we're really in balance with who we are and why we're here, then the other people who are around us, who are just like ourselves, will also start waking up. And as they do, we'll know each other. And we won't have a need to complain to each other or exhibit any of the traits that we may have learned earlier in life while living here.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like a plan of perfect integration.
That's exactly what it is.
It's fascinating. Will you, how long will your existence be on this planet?
I really couldn't say how long I'm going to live here, except I figure I'll be here until I die. That could be a very long time, or it may be next week. Actually, I guess I'm being facetious. I know I'm going to be around for a while. I'm not going to die next week or next month. I'm going to be here until at least long after 2011, because 2011 is the point of demarcation. That's how much time we've got between now and to then.
Meaning?
Well, if things are going to change, they're going to have to change within the next few years. If you have not achieved a sense of peace by the year 2011, we'll just use that as a doorstop for a moment. If you haven't achieved a state of peace by that time, then you won't be here to try and achieve a state of peace. So what are your choices going to be? Because if you don't do it on your own, we're coming in and taking over. And that's all there is to it. And they know that if another group came in and attempted to do that, they would be powerless. So the only hope that they have is to use this as a hedge against the bet. They're going in and saying, look, this is real. This is imminent. We've got to work this out, people. We can't be continuing with these wars and this, so on and so forth. At the same time, knowing that this planet is being very carefully manipulated by dark forces. And at the same time, knowing that there are people who are living here who didn't originate here, who are wanting to try and promote the peace and the changes and to bring things into a state of being. That's why there are programs like this. There are people who are aware that are trying to bring this information to the public, not through fear, but through a series of pieces of information. So, in order for our world, and this is now my world too, in order for our world to survive, all it calls for is for us to take a look at ourselves and what we're capable of achieving collectively as a people, not through fear, but through desire and through the anticipation and the hope that peace can indeed occur on this world, and we can go on to a higher state of being, a higher state of understanding, where no one is in pain, where no one does without, where there's hope for a better tomorrow, a real hope. That's why we're here, and that's what the mission is all about. Everything else is secondary.
What happens in 2011 if we haven't learned? What happens to the planet, or what happens to our race, or what happens to our world in 2011 if we haven't learned?
If the people of this world haven't learned how to take care and be the stewards of this world, and how to take care and be the stewards of each other, then this world is going to continue on a downward spiral. The water, the air, the foods are going to become poisoned. And although the body is designed to detoxify itself under the right conditions, if you're living in a toxic world, you can only become as detoxified as the world you're living in. There's evidence of that every day as we live in the city. So if we haven't achieved this by 2011, that may be a point where there is no turning back. And perhaps by 2012, new diseases will emerge. I don't know. I don't know what the end result is. I don't know what the catastrophes might be. I just know that we're on a very thin course and something needs to be done.
And what tells you 2011 is the date?
The ETs told me. The Mayan calendar tells me. The Hopi prophecy tells me. The Sumerian text tells me. The Celtic text tells me. The Egyptian text, and about a half a dozen different tribes in the Amazon. Why is it they all have the same date? There's something very peculiar here, because these people are not in relationship to one another except that they're all on the same planet. But sometimes hundreds of years separate them culturally, and yet they all come up at the same date, including the ETs who are coming here.
And this is the last question.
Yeah, this is the last question. Please.
We're dealing with all of this. Why aren't you at the top of the highest mountain screaming? It's like wake up, wake up. Is it because would you be so heavily ridiculed that your purpose would no longer be served, or?
The reason I'm not at the top of a mountain hollering wake up, if you'll notice, a person speaks very softly. Everyone bends forward to hear what's being said. As far as being ridiculed, I think they will probably stop laughing when they start choking on the air they're polluting. I'm not worried about the ridicule. I'm worried about the future of this world. The ridicule, it's just going to bounce off of me. If this world dies, then where am I going to go live next? And why would I have spent an entire lifetime trying to make a difference and then see myself fail? So, because I don't fail, I have a great feeling that there's a tremendous amount of hope that this world is going to make it. And we're going to see the dawning of a new day on January 1st, 2012.